Hey, so October brings on a change of season as well as spooky season and every artist's worst nightmare challenge month. So I have never 100% completed a challenge before in the month of October, and it has always left me feeling quite disappointed. And part of the reason why I gave up on illustration for a little bit was because I didn't complete an October challenge. So, striving not to do that this year, I made it very simple that I did not have to complete everything. And I also found Flesh's challenge that they have aptly named Badtober. And the whole point of it is to just draw something really shitty every day of the month and just have fun. It's not about having a final project. I really pushed myself for the last 10 days. Hello. I'm editing this video right now and I realized that it's 14 days, not 10 days. So ignore every time I say 10 days. It's 14. So you got a little bit more, a couple bonus ones. You're welcome. To draw every single day. And I have now cemented myself a little morning routine of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sitting and just doing goofy little drawing. And that has really helped. I've been drawing nearly every single day, which is huge for me. I've never drawn this many days in a row before in my life. And illustration has always been a constant for me, and I really love illustration. So highly recommend. Anyway, with not much further ado, I am going to walk you through all of my drawings for Badtober and explain a couple of notes that I took during it, using it as a little bit of a diary kind of thing, and how I felt about each drawing. And then I'm going to finish it off with the last prompt. It is November 1st today here in Australia. Technically, it's the 31st in America, so I'm not late, but yeah, this afternoon I have to finish making my Halloween costume, and it happens to tie in with the final prompt, so I'm just going to show you my process for making that costume and have a little bit of fun. I have my references for that costume up on the screen, I just noticed, so yeah, a little sneak peek, but it's a bit blurry for you to see, but anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so the first day of my 10 days, the prompt was draw yourself, I don't care how. So I did a meet the artist. I've never done one of these before. I've done a few self-portraits in my various styles over the years. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to do like this godlike version of myself that I hope to be one day, and then have all my abouts and that kind of stuff that people put on there, and a cute little goofy drawing of me down in the corner, and have it labeled as me right now. So I can show you like this, but I think I'm gonna put it up on screen next to me. Up in the top left corner, I have my favorite snack. They're like little chocolate koalas. If you know the pandas, they're exactly like those, but koalas. But yeah, that's my favorite snack at the moment. Still is. I freaking love those things. I still heavily rely on references for my art, and so I used one of those references on Pinterest where they've got the people posing intentionally for different things with just underpants on, so then you can put whatever clothing on them you like. And then I use like material references for how to do shading, and I usually take these references myself. So the brown pants on her, I actually took a photo of me in these brown pants that I'm wearing right now, to see how the fabric would fall if you stood in that kind of position. Let's start from the top. She's got like a shag haircut, which at that point in time I was kind of thinking about getting, but I was a little unsure. And as you can see, I got my haircut yesterday, and I talked to my hairdresser about getting a shag, and she was like, how about we go short for summer and then winter we get a shag. So yeah, I'm trying the short hair. I kind of like it. I haven't had it for years, But yeah, I am balanced on top of 4 books that I have right here at my feet that I love to look back on and use for help sometimes with drawings and inspiration, that kind of thing. So I got the Animated Survival Kit, which I relied on that all throughout uni. Love that book so much. It just really simplifies a lot of important things to include and make things look more lively. Next we have Fairies and Shaman. They're just 2 amazing, hang on, I'll grab them. We got Fairies by Brian Froud and Alan Lee. I love Alan Lee's work a lot. But yeah, it's just like stunning drawings and illustrations of fairies. I got a lot of Alan Lee books, so I've got his castles as well. But this is Shaman, and they've also got some really beautiful work in it, with lots of pencil work and graphite stuff. And that's by Susan Seddon-Boulay. I really, really love that stuff, and I use it as pose references a lot of the time for getting some interesting poses. And I used to draw a lot of creatures. So yeah, it really helped with drawing creatures and knowing how different forms would sit. Lastly, I have the Assassin's Creed limited edition art book. I picked that up at a book fair, and yeah, just like looking through all the concept art. I originally wanted to be a concept artist, but decided I enjoy cartoon stuff a lot more, and concept art, like you can get cartoon ones, but the kind that I wanted to do was more the realistic based stuff. So kind of just let that dream fall to the side as I wasn't really interested in it. Back to the drawing. I have a Apple Pencil in my arm that I'm like using as like a staff kind of thing. I just thought it looked kind of cool. I put down my favorite song. No longer my favorite song. That changes almost on the daily. But at that time, it was Dance Now by Joey Valance and Bray. Current binge is Malcolm in the Middle. I watch this TV show religiously, like once a year at the very least. And then I've got Meet the Artist, Georgia 24, I'm Australian, INTJ, and a Virgo. Lastly, I have my goals. So I want to design for the music industry, set up a shop, which hopefully that will be coming soon. And then I want to get better at illustration, which I figured out in this video. And then lastly, I want more sick tats. I have 2 at the moment. And then down in the bottom, I just have a goofy little like chibi style version of myself currently. This one's before my new haircut, but yeah, I just got like a messy bun kind of hairstyle, and she's like gawking at the dream version of myself. So yeah, that was this first one. It was just a little bit of goofy fun, and I just chilled and got it done and kind of like it. I'm not the proudest. I think the dream version of myself's face could look a lot more like mine. I took a photo of my face in the same direction so I could see how to draw it, but I think it doesn't really look like me, so a little bit disappointed, but that's okay. And now we're on to day 2 of 10. This one is quite exciting, and I love him, and he's so cute, but it's Pedro. Yeah, the prompt was USPS needs a new international shipping stamp, and I drew Pedro because the stamps, when I looked them up, were circular shaped, and of course my autistic brain went straight to Pedro the raccoon. I am obsessed with raccoons. I have been for ever and ever and ever. I will die the day that I meet a raccoon. I'll be so happy. But yeah, I love Pedro. The only notes I had on this one, as it was so long ago and I can't quite remember what I was on about, but what I could decipher was I really liked using the paintbrush in the background. On Procreate, it's called Gouache. I don't know, Gouache, I think. Yeah, I liked using that in the background because I could layer it and make the bottom darker and the top lighter, like he has a little shadow on him. And yeah, you'll see a trend. I continued using that brush for all of October. But yeah, that was the main note. And then I liked how I did the shadow behind the stickers. So when I'm drawing things that are inside boxes and stuff, I want to use the shadow around the actual outside of the box so it's not so flat. Yeah, I really liked that. And this was at a point when I was doing my brand design stuff, so I started using my colors that I made for the brand Pantofolaio and just really experimenting with how they look with my illustration. And so this one's a bright purple and I really, really love it. So yeah, I was quite happy with this one. It's just a really simple and cute design, which I thought was nice. The prompt right after designing a USPS international stamp was draw something for me in particular, please, thanks. So this was generally taken as drawing something for Flash as it's Flash's challenge. So what I did was look through their illustrations. I do follow them, but I follow a lot of people, so I don't see everyone's stuff quite regularly. So I had to look through it just to see what they like to draw, and I know their style, so I was just going to try and attempt their style, but I didn't want to copy someone's style. I felt weird doing that, even though it was for them. But yeah, I kind of half copied a little bit their style, but I figured out they really liked F1, and I used to really love F1 until I gave up on getting up at 3 o'clock most of the year to watch cars go around a racetrack. So yeah, I gave up on watching that. But it was really fun to draw the F1 car again. I drew Ferrari's current one. I believe it's their current one. And then I ran out of time. So I kind of took some notes from Flesh's book, and they do a lot of like sticker illustrations and paper cutouts and that kind of thing. So I did like a dotted line, like it's a paper cutout, and wrote insert Charles here, insert Carlos here. Yeah, so that's the drawing. The notes that I had on it was that I liked doing the cutout effect. That was really quite fun, and I think it looked a little bit cooler than if I was to just draw the drivers. It makes it a little bit more interesting. I like the way I did the word Flash. I thought that looked really cool. My note on things to improve on was the way I do the shading. Sometimes it ends up, because I just use the Procreate 6B pencil. That's what I'm used to using in my pen on paper illustrations. So I just stick to the same thing in Procreate because it kind of feels a little the same. Not quite the same, but gives the same kind of effect that I go for in my pen and paper stuff. Yeah, so I didn't really like the digital pen kind of goes a bit streaky with the way that I color. Like my pen and paper pen does it too because it's just the way that I color, but you don't notice it as much when you go back over. But the digital one, it's really hard to get rid of. So I gotta learn a new coloring technique when I'm doing it digital was my main pointer for myself. I soon learned that if you tilt the Apple Pencil, it does actually make the pen larger in color like you're coloring on the side. But in my 3 years of owning an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil, I had no fucking clue, of course. So we learned that today. The next prompt was long black straight hair with blunt bangs. Pretty easy prompt for me. I just had to draw some kind of girl, which is what I usually do. But yeah, I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting and try a new pose that I haven't drawn before. And I'm not very good at drawing environments and having people and things interact with environments. So I thought maybe having her hair go through some water, or I think it started with floating. So I wanted her to be floating. I kind of wanted an overall like creepy kind of vibe to it and have her floating and her hair doing something like really cool and kind of majestic looking. But from floating, it went to the hair in the water, and I thought of drawing kind of like siren lady or someone that's like coming out of the water and their hair's like dead straight, because that was like the prompt was long straight hair. So I thought like wet straight hair would be kind of cool looking. Yeah, so this is what I ended up with. This is like the first one that I absolutely despised. Like, I don't really like it. I like it a bit more now, but at the time I was really quite disappointed. But I posted it anyway because that's the point of Badtober. You post the shitty stuff too. Yeah, the one good note I had was I liked how I did the fringe with the hair being like I used the gouache tool again and did individual strands of the hair over the top of the lighter layer of hair, and I thought that turned out really quite cool and a good level of cartoon and hair-like to me, which is what I'm trying to get with my style. There was lots of notes on things I didn't like. Like, I didn't like how I did the face. The face, I obviously gave up on looking at the reference because it is so, like, at the wrong angle. She's supposed to be looking up at you, and it kind of looks like her head's like she's looking up at you, and then her actual facial features are like she's looking straight at you. So, definitely a angle that I have to work on drawing for sure. And then yeah, just I think I could have done the hair blending into the water a little bit better because I don't think you can really tell that she's in the water. But yeah, this was definitely one that I might redraw later just as like a study and to work on what it will look like and how to draw it better. So yeah, it's important to take notes while you draw and review what you draw so you know what to practice on, and I found it on that day. I can't remember what day we were up to, but on the prompt list we're up to day 23 and it says, "I'm sorry, you must draw a man," which I've drawn men before, but I'm not as confident in them as I am in drawing women, because women are nice and smooth and sexy and easy to draw, in my opinion. It's only easy for me because I've always drawn them, not as any kind of "you look easy to draw" comment. And yeah, men's muscles are gross and hard to draw, as I found out in this challenge. So currently, my partner is obsessed with the song Backbone by Chase and Status. There is now a Subtronics remix, which is mine and my partner's favorite EDM artist. Well, one of his favorites, but my favorite of all time. And he did a remix of that same song. And we have been pumping it all throughout the house. So I drew this guy. I originally had him drawn with pen and paper, and I just moved that image over onto my Procreate canvas and traced over that and turned it digital and added more detail. Yeah, because I was originally doing a drawing for the song Backbone anyway, and I didn't like it on pen and paper, so I gave up on it. This is the final result. I think it's really cool. I got a comment on it from one of the guys that I work with saying that he looks really cool, and yeah, that was quite nice. I don't get very many comments on my art stuff, so it made me feel quite proud of it. I wanted to experiment with lighting a little bit. I wanted to experiment with lighting a little bit with this one. So I have like a lightning bolt coming out of his chest, and I wanted that to be the light source, as I usually do light source from the top right hand corner, as if I just do it from the same corner every single time, it's gonna look correct. Pretty much is my idea of it. So it's still coming from the right top corner, I guess, but because the light is on his chest, it's more amplified in that area. And so I really wanted to challenge myself to try and do that so it looks correct. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of it. Yeah, that was like the compliment I had for myself on this drawing in particular. And the things I had to improve on was the shading once again. I'm not 100% on my shading in digital art at the moment. And yeah, his muscles, I have to draw more men. I was drawing his abs and it just looked like these gross lumps coming out. I don't know, it looked weird as fuck. So yeah, I was like, no, you're gonna get like a nice flat stomach instead of abs. And the back muscles don't look too bad, but I think the shading kind of distracts from what I'm actually looking at. So yeah, definitely something to improve on. Definitely need to draw more men. So yeah, that was this day. Day 24. The prompt was something related to your favorite musician. Now, I know I was gushing about Joey Valance and Bray and how they had my favorite song, but that was in the week that day 18 fell in. So we're now in day 24 and Amyl and the Sniffers had released a new album and I was obsessed with them. So that's my favorite artist now. Yeah, changed pretty much daily. My favorite songs, my favorite artists. I just really fucking love music. So yeah, I decided to draw the Queen herself. I did animate it, but I didn't think about the fact that my canvas is 4,000 pixels by 4,000 pixels and Instagram does not take that as a format for video. So I panicked that whole day because I could not upload the animation and I just uploaded the still of her, which I'll put here. And then it wasn't until 3 days later that I realized, oh shit, I need to do it in 1080p, not 4K pretty much. And yeah, so I might upload that later. Yeah, I had a lot of fun drawing this one. It's very bold in your face, just like Amyl. Yeah, I didn't really have any bad comments on this one. I just didn't like her facial expression is her looking up with her tongue out. And I could not replicate that very well. So I kind of just scribbled something that looks remotely like it and hoped that people wouldn't notice because it's a smaller part of the image. And I don't think you really can tell that it's just a bunch of scribbles, so that's not too bad of an attempt. Yeah, so I definitely need to practice on faces facing straight up, along with some goofy facial expressions like having your tongue out and things like that. Yeah, I drew her in my favorite song from the new album is It's Mine. And in the video thing for that, she's wearing a seashell bra and some Muay Thai kickboxing pants kind of things, wrestler shorts. I don't know what you would call them. I've seen lots of Muay Thai kickboxing people wearing them. Yeah, and I think she just looks really sick. We saw her at Splendor in the Grass and she was phenomenal. I wouldn't recommend anyone more to see live. She just has so much energy and I don't know how she does it. And yeah, I wanted to capture that with this drawing. So I added a lot of fun little extra bits like the squiggly lines and the star and the outline. I just wanted to look really energetic. One thing I do wish I did, which now that I'm looking at it, is I wish I colored in the microphone because I think it kind of blends in with her skin and I don't think you can realize that it's a microphone. But yeah, that was this drawing. I'm quite proud of it. And yeah. All right. Day 25. It's no Lineart day. Boss's orders, apparently. My art style that I was slowly realizing doing this challenge. I am very excited that I feel like I'm developing an art style, but it heavily relied on line art and black line art, so it wasn't easily disguisable. So I was very thrown off guard and shocked by this prompt. And yeah, I took all day to draw a drawing with no line art. I had this old drawing that I had, well, not drawing, it was in sketch form of my puppy dog, Ein, and I thought because the line art's already there, I'll just color it in and then hide the line art and post that. So that's what I did. I hate it. I had a couple of people comment on it and say, you did that easy, blah, blah, blah. Good job, it looks great. And I think it just looks goofy. If it had line art, 100%, it would look so cool. But yeah, no line art, so yeah, not much to say on this one. It just showed me that I do really, really like the line art. This kind of just confirmed it for me that my art style really needs to have line art, and yeah, so I'm going to definitely stick to line art, but still maybe dabble a bit in doing things with no line art so I can learn and expand my practice. But for right now, while I'm really trying to define myself a style, I'm going to stick to my line art. Yeah, that was kind of all the notes I had on this one. Was definitely stick to line art, babes. Definitely do that. So yeah, next prompt. I'm not gonna read it out for you. It was like a bunch of letters and numbers, not letters. This is a bunch of symbols and that's it. So it was like $, hashtag, caret, and asterisk, like that kind of thing. And it kind of looked like bleeped out swearing to me. And so I noticed that Lita had posted hers, and it was like a person laying on the ground staring at the ceiling, and I saw someone else's was like a really cool POV shot where like there was like a hand like right up close to the camera, and they were sticking the finger up, I think, and the caption was like me at October challenges, which I thought was really funny. Yeah, there was quite a few like really quite like aggressive, like really emotional kind of drawings, I guess. And so I was like thinking about it, like what's something that makes me feel really like, oh, fuck this, fuck that, like kind of feeling. And it's drawing hands, as I'm sure most artists feel. So I drew hands and I put all of the symbols in the background. Yeah, I figured out a better way for me to map out my hands in the sketching phase so that they make a bit more sense. I feel like these ones still aren't quite proportionate when you look at the reference photo I had and compare the two. They kind of look a little bit like goofy, like the hands in the reference photo, because it's a photo, they look like real hands, whereas mine are like, something's not quite right. I think the wrist might be a little too little, and the way the thumb and the pointer finger on the hand that's on this side is like they're not attached right or something. Like it just looks kind of weird to me. But I learned, instead of I always just use circles as my shapes and squares to indicate different bones and things like that. Instead of doing that, I did triangles, and that kind of helped me a little bit more. So that was this challenge. It was a lot of experimenting, and I feel like I'm proud of these hands compared to the hands on other things I've drawn. But yeah, they're still kind of off, and I know it's something I need to work on, as it always gives me grief, and I'm constantly drawing hands at the moment, I feel like. So yeah, that was this day. Day 27. It's Heron. So as you could imagine, a lot of people decided to draw stills from the movie The Boy and the Heron. I went and saw this movie. It is beautiful. And I was originally going to draw the heron with his like nose sticking out of the beak, because I just thought it was cool looking and different. Like that's why I really like the movie, because the characters, as is the same with all Studio Ghibli movies, the characters were so wacky and fun. And yeah, I kind of really wanted to draw that, but a lot of people already had at the point that I was looking for some ideas, and yeah, I didn't want to copy everyone else's idea. So I was looking up pictures of herons, and I thought maybe I draw, instead of like the typical like blue head heron, I draw an Australian heron, which they just plain grey and kind of a bit boring. And while I was looking up Australian heron, I found lots of pictures of herons with snakes in their mouth. And whoa, holy shit. That's insane. A lot of them were like being strangled by snakes, but they're still like trying to eat it. I did not know that they ate snakes. So yeah, I wanted to draw that. So I drew this heron with this snake coming out of its beak. The notes I had on this one, I really liked using just white on the main part of the image. I think it looks so cool. I originally had the snake in white, but I think making the snake the same color as the background draws more attention to the heron, which is what I was trying to do with it. And yeah, I was quite happy with that effect. It made it look a bit like a sticker. Yeah, I thought it was really cool looking, and I want to do that more, so I made note of it. I also noted that my shading was better this time around. Looks less liney and more crisscrossy, which is the effect that I try to go for with pencil and paper. So it looked a lot more like my pencil and paper drawing. So I was quite proud of that. I didn't really have any bad notes on this one, but what I can say now looking at it is I kind of want to draw that snake better. So I could work on drawing snakes a little bit better. That might be kind of cool. I really like snakes, so drawing more would be fun. So yeah, I might do some more snakes. But other than that, I was quite proud of this one. Yeah. We are blasting through them now. Day 28, the prompt was Blocky, ... A lot of people that I saw drew Minecraft creatures and things like that. I thought of Lego first when I read Blocky. So I drew Lego. I drew the June Ornithopter because I have been obsessed with June for like years now, and then the movies came out and I was blown away because the original movie sucks ass. But yeah, the Ornithopter from the June movies turned into a Lego set that I would die if I owned. Yeah, I just drew that. It's just line art. There's not really much to it. I noted that I really liked the shading that I did this time around. Like, I'm very, very happy with my shading. But one tip that I definitely need to realize is that when I'm zoomed in drawing tiny little details with my tiny little setting on my 6B pencil, when you zoom out, you can't see it. Can't see it. So I really wish I had drawn it with a thicker pencil. Yeah, that's about like the only bad thing I have to say about this, as I don't normally draw this kind of thing, so I'm quite impressed with how it did turn out. I heavily used grids. I had a picture of the Lego Ornithopter on one side and then had my grid over the top. And then on the other side, I had the same size grid in my Procreate canvas and just went square by square drawing this thing. It's a little bit off because I left some parts off that I had no idea what they were or how to draw them from the image. So I just colored over them. Yeah, but I think it looks really cool. It looks like what it's supposed to look like, which was my main goal for this one. And yeah, maybe I should draw more Lego sets because it looks really cool, but definitely using a thicker pencil. Day 29, the prompt was draw a cake. Hehehe, yummy, so yummy. I love the personality of that one. I wanted to take my line art a little bit further and try and do one whole piece purely just line art. So that's what I did for this day. I found these, I just looked up a bunch of cakes. I kind of wanted to do like a vintage sort of style cake, and so I was looking on vintage cakes and then I saw these really cool ones with like bugs on them. And yeah, it's by a company, I think it's called Vegan Treats on Instagram. I gave them a follow afterwards because their stuff is so cool. But yeah, I found this really cool cake and it had like roaches on the side of it and it was like really dark green, which I thought looked so beautiful. Yeah, so I just did like line art of this. It's purely just with the 6B pencil in Procreate, and I just did line art and shading. Yeah, I'm kind of meh on how this turned out. It was like the task I set myself was just to do it in line art, but I wish I kind of got some of that beautiful color in there. Yeah, some of the lines are a little bit shaky, but I was practicing line art. That was the idea. So I got a bit exhausted towards the end and just simplified details a bit. Yeah, it was just a little bit of experimenting with the line art, seeing what I could do and level of detail I could get into an image without color. Turns out not a lot, so it just looks like a blob to look at on the page. You can kind of tell what it is, but not quite. So yeah, definitely need to combo the line art with coloring was the main note from this one. And I want to draw more bugs for some reason. And it was fun drawing the cute little cockroaches on there, so I think I might draw some more bugs. So I was on a streak, and then the next day I didn't finish in time. So you know what I did? I gave up. That is correct. I gave up. Another drawing in October challenge that I did not complete. I already hadn't completed the whole thing, but yeah, I was going strong, doing every single day, and then got to day 30. It says, I heart F1, but your prompt is cat. And so a lot of people were drawing pictures of cats driving F1 cars, which I thought was really cute. My original idea was trying to draw some really messed up morphed cat that it was in the shape of an F1 car going around the track, but I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to make the back leg like the kind of arch of the leg, the wheel, and yeah, I could not figure it out for the life of me. The idea's there, but I don't know how to execute. If you're a better drawer, then 100% give it a go. I want to see it. I think it's such a funny idea. But yeah, anyway, I was scrolling for reference images of a cat because I thought, oh, drawing a cat won't be too hard. I'll just ignore the whole F1 part, or maybe just stick a car in there somewhere. And I found this really funny cat picture, and he looks like he's like screaming, and I thought that would be really funny behind a mask, and call it like Daniel Ricciardo or something like that. So yeah, I started drawing it, and then it got to the end of the day, and I just really wanted to play bear and breakfast and have a normal night and not draw until late hours. So yeah, I left it where it's at, which is this. Yeah, this one was just a learning curve of don't try to do anything too insane and just keep it simple for these challenges. Like, if you want to draw a cat as a race car, make that a big drawing that you're going to spend like a week on. If it's just a drawing for a day, draw something simpler than that was the big learning point of this day. But yeah, now looking at this Daniel Ricciardo one, I'm kind of loving it, and I kind of want to finish it. But yeah, the other day when I did it, I was like, yeah, nah, I hate it. I don't want to finish it. So I just left it. But yeah, that one done. And then that means the final prompt, which I will be doing today for you guys, with you guys, all 10 of you, which is so exciting, by the way. I didn't think people would want to subscribe to a channel of me just yapping. But yeah, today's prompt is, today watch media and draw a scene from it. We're just going to ignore the whole draw a scene from it and work on my Halloween costume, as I am going as a character from a movie. We ran out of time this year, so there is no couple costume that we're doing. And I have some pretty big boots to fill from last year, as I went as a sexy version of the Witch King. And yeah, that was really cool. I made the mask. I made a huge mace for him as well, and gauntlets and everything. And now I was alerted of a Halloween party about a week ago, and so we've had to quickly scrounge up some stuff. My partner's going as Luffy. He just ordered a costume for Luffy, and I ordered him a straw hat, and I'm gonna paint the scars and things on him so that he looks like Luffy. But yeah, I was like, what can I go as that I don't need to find a costume and I can just put together some stuff? I'm going as Ash from the Evil Dead series. I am a fan. This is my one and only comic book that I own. Yeah, I love Ash Williams. My favorite character of all time, I would say. And what I am currently working on, technically, I guess I'm drawing it from a scene, but there's a scene in Army of Darkness where Ash is going to find the Necronomicon, and he goes into this little cabin thing, and there is a mirror that breaks, and he is seen in all the reflections of the mirror, and then they jump out, and there's like miniature versions of him. So yeah, I am going to make myself some little earrings that I have. So far, I have just drawn like a really simple version of him with a fork and with a match, and I'm going to hang them from either side. So hopefully they point in like they're pointing at me, and they're like my little terrorizing guys on my shoulder. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. And then what I have up on the screen is, probably can't see because of the blur, but it's his gauntlet. So, well, fake hand, I guess, because in the first movie, he cuts off his hand because it goes bad. It gets infected with a deadite, I guess. Yeah, so I have these gloves. So yeah, I have this glove. I have 2 of them that I got for my Witch King costume last year so that I just look like I was a shadowy figure was the idea. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick cardboard on this so it looks like his gloves and paint it silver, which I have the silver paint here somewhere over there. And then hopefully I'll be left with a little gauntlet animatronic kind of hand thing. I have a chainsaw that I was originally going to try and figure out how to attach to my hand, but that was going to take too much and I didn't have enough time in a week, and now I've left it to the very last day because the Halloween party's tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to try and get this glove done today, and then that means I don't have to worry about looking like I have no hand, because that's like his whole character thing. But yeah, I'm gonna take you along for the rest of my video doing that, and I might insert some footage from Halloween and our costumes at the end. So enjoy!